Hello, welcome back to another exciting episode of MegStories. If you're enjoying what you're watching, we kindly ask you to show your support by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. My life improved after cheating wife left. My story actually goes back a few years, but the current situation with the pandemic has sort of brought it back to life in a way. I turned 39 last December. My GF birthday is 1 week before mine and my daughter's falls in between, so we tend to have a birthday week celebration. We had been together for nearly 7 years at the time, married for almost 5. I thought we were very happy. The speed with which everything changed shocked me. All of this started back when I was 32 and my daughter was 4. My ex-wife was 31. My ex-wife joined a new gym because of a promotion they were having. It was a very expensive high-end place. It was after that when the trouble started. The details of the cheating aren't that interested, so I'm not going to spend much time describing it. For about 6 months, my ex-wife became distant, picking fights a lot, going out on girls' nights After about 6 months of all this, I went away on a business trip, and when I came home, my ex-wife and moved out. Maybe 2/3 of all her stuff and most of my daughter's stuff was gone. On the kitchen, their divorce papers. No note, nothing. She was offering 50-50 custody and didn't want any money or the house. Now it might be important to know that at this time, I was already earning 6 figures plus bonuses and commissions. Due to some very wise investments and careful planning, I expect to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday or soon after. But I guess she wasn't willing to wait. She is a stunning and beautiful woman, so it's not too surprising she was able to meet the guy she did, especially in revealing gym clothes. I didn't know this when I found the divorce papers, but the man she left me for was already a millionaire. He was also 45. But I didn't know about the other man at the time. All I knew as my wife and left with our child and left behind divorce papers. She wasn't answering my call or anything. Her parents and siblings didn't know where she was. Eventually, I talked to her, but she didn't tell me about the other guy. She just said that she wasn't happy and she wants to move on. After a couple weeks, what convinced me to sign the papers was when I received an invitation to her second wedding. I signed the papers and she was remarried 3 months after leaving me. I'm giving kind of an abridged version because the details of all this aren't so unique. Once I was divorced, I got to see my daughter again, and basically she spent half her time with me and half her time with her mother. I focused on being a better and more present father. I redoubled my efforts to work out and established a thorough exercise regimen. I took some courses about investing and trading and made a fortune. I even discovered a new hobby, woodworking. I would find used furniture usually that had been thrown out and I would refinish it. Eventually, I started dating again, but it was nothing too serious. I was more concerned with having another woman around my daughter. She never really warmed up to wife's second husband. My daughter often said that he tolerated her, but that was it. She didn't use those exact words, but that's what she described. Eventually, I met my current girlfriend. We've been together about 3 years now, living together for 2. My girlfriend is from Thailand and is 10 years younger than me. She studied therapy and worked in a spa. Her and my daughter get along great, and my ex-wife is very jealous. My GF and daughter enjoy spending time together in a way I don't think my ex-wife has experienced. For example, GF and daughter both have long hair and enjoy watching videos online on how to make very elaborate braids and hairstyles. My daughter enjoys this more than the expensive toys my ex-wife is always buying. Time for the plot twist. 2020 and the pandemic were not kind to my ex-wife's new husband. He worked as a business consultant and lost about 75% of his clients when the companies wanted to save money. They might hire him again in the future, but now it's tough. He still has plenty of money, but he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck. Furthermore, it turns out he was also heavily in debt. I don't know all the details, but I've heard he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, as well as outstanding loans. He had to sell his house, and they moved into a condominium. He had sell off a lot of his assets to cover most of the costs. He is still comfortable, but their lifestyle took a drastic downgrade. The upside for me, my GF, and daughter is that my daughter has been living with us full-time for nearly a year. I happily volunteered to take her while they were dealing with their financial situation. The three of yous have already visited my GF's family in Thailand, and after the pandemic situation is over, we are going to go back and have a wedding in Thailand. We are tentatively planning on relocating to Thailand. My daughter visited Thailand with us, and we haven't fully talked about it, but she is excited about living in Thailand with us. She has even started taking Thai language lessons online. I don't know how this will work exactly, and it's not like it will happen tomorrow, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my story. I hope it can help as a source of encouragement and motivation for people going through something similar. Remember that things can get better even after a bad situation. Now for the next story. I'm going to leave a long-term partner who cheated. And if I do leave, how? For context, I have no parental figures to ask for serious advice from, so I'm asking here. I, 30 Faye, have been in a 3.5-year committed relationship with my BF, lived together for 3 years, refer to each other as partner. This relationship has been truly wonderful. I was previously married for nearly a decade, married way too young to a guy who was an absolute jerk. This prior experience has led me to be a little gun-shy around marriage. I left that relationship. I am no stranger to the kind of pain that comes from initiating a needed divorce and leaving a man who needs to be left. I just don't want to leave a good one who messed up, and I don't know quite how to tell the difference. Current BF has been kind, supportive, empathetic, a full partner in every way. Splits chores equally, travels with me, picks up when I have bad days, and I do the same for him. I was diagnosed with a serious chronic disease earlier this year. It isn't usually terminal, and I am functioning at almost the same level I was before, albeit with a lot of medication. I'm still completely physically and financially independent, kind of like a usually very treatable cancer. Life-altering, possibly life-ending, but not usually. Out of the blue, BF starts acting weird a couple of weeks ago. At this same time, we signed a lease for a new, expensive apartment. We moved in about 2 weeks ago now, 1-year lease, 6-to-break lease. I am selling my house that I've owned for 7 years. That decision is irreversible at this time. BF drops on me out of nowhere with my family in the next room visiting and helping us prepare the house that he's suddenly feeling unhappy and is considering breaking up. No fights, no unhappiness leading up to this. I am stunned but behind self-reflecting on how I may have contributed to his unhappiness. That was a Thursday. The following Monday last week, he was acting really weird about his phone. I've never gone through a phone before, but I felt like I should, so I did last Wednesday. I found out he'd been cheating with a girl who had just started working with him 4 weeks prior. All the sweet nothings. I love you and I'm going to leave her. It just takes time, etc. I met up with her and had sex the night before he told me in the garage that he was unhappy. Then had sex again on Monday while I was at work. The last text he sent her before I found out was, "I love you so much. Don't reply." Of course, I was mad and devastated, but he absolutely swears he will never do it again. He got carried away? He didn't mean any of that. This year has been hard on him, which makes me mad because I'm sorry my diagnosis was so hard on you that you had to cheat. He is still here in our apartment. I feel like I've disassociated mostly. He stayed at his parents' for a few nights but came home. He's apologized profusely, but otherwise everything is normal. I am considering not breaking off the relationship because this was so out of character for him. He has never acted like this before. It has been a truly wonderful 3 years. Plus, practically, I can't afford this apartment on my own, and we are locked into a 1-year lease that we're now 2 weeks into. I'm considering ending things because who cheats on their partner right after a bad diagnosis? And he didn't end it before I found out. But if I did, how on earth do you tell your partner to pack half of our apartment up that he is on the lease for and leave? I don't know. When is cheating recoverable? When is it just too far? If you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more of it to support the channel, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications.